The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets have finalized their offensive coaching staff, and there's a quarterback out there that keeps being linked to the New York Jets. We'll break down the latest with Frankie V. Frankie V from U Stadium is set to join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Smash the like button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so already, we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I want to thank all the Asmaniacs who put on Vice TV last night to watch the documentary that Vice TV did on the Monday Night Miracle. That's right. Really cool to see Curtis Martin interviewed in the doc. Marcus Coleman was featured. Patrick Surtain Sr., who was, of course, on the Dolphins for the Miami perspective on that game. And, man, Fireman Ed, I thought, crushed it in the doc. But if you haven't seen it, it's streaming on Vice TV. I'll play a short clip a little bit later on in the show from the doc. But big thank you to everyone who tuned in. A lot of fun to tape that over the summer and see what the finished product actually looked like. With that, let's talk all things Jets. We have an offensive coaching staff that has been finalized. And for more on that, we say hello to the co-founder of U Stadium and the co-host of the Gangs All Here podcast on the Jets with the New York Post. It's our guy, Frankie V. Frankie, how we feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I just don't know why you're having me on. You're a superstar, man. You're like Hollywood. You should play the whole doc, man. Forget about having me on this show. Jeez, man.
Man, if Vice would let me, I might.
YouTube will copyright strike that real quick, right?
You know how YouTube works. No doubt about that. A lot to talk about with you. We certainly will address the Derek Carr speculation, but let's just start with the actual hires that were finalized yesterday. Your thoughts on, of course, what Frank Reich is doing with his staff. We know that he's going to be the quote-unquote head coach of the offense. So if you just look at some of the names here, there are three guys that are joining him that were with him last year in Stanford. And, of course, the two biggest names, Seth Ryan, the pass game coordinator. We knew that over the weekend. And then Bill Musgrave officially announced now as the quarterback's coach. Give us your thoughts on the offensive staff.
Listen, man, for me, it's a little bit of a yin or yang. I like the experience that we're bringing into that room. I think this offense desperately needs as much experience as possible. You need to be able to develop players from inception, from when they're drafted, and seek it through for, in terms of them being successful. So experience matters a ton. I do like that they've mixed in a little bit of Seth Ryan into the mix here, someone that can kind of learn from these older heads, quote unquote, in Frank Reich and Bill Musgrave. So I like the little mix match there, but I don't like that we're going with sort of like older minds necessarily. I liked where we were at about a year ago. I thought Tanner, and I'm a big Tanner Engstrand fan, so I just can't get over the fact that we moved on from Tanner Engstrand. I thought it was something that was up and coming in terms of his system. I thought he was an up and coming offensive coordinator in this league. I don't like that, Frank Reich 64. This guy Musgrave is I think, what is he, 58? It's just it's something where I wanted some younger minds in there, and I can't get over that. With that said, I do like that you got Seth Ryan there, who is a younger mind, and they're trying to basically raise the floor, but also have some pieces there on the coaching staff that could eventually maybe take over once these older guys sort of are out the door. The thing is, Jake, these coordinators and these coaches, they don't last forever, right? Or they don't even last right now in the NFL, the way things are going. They don't even last for a few years anymore. If you're able to keep your job for 2 years, that's a long time in a lot of scenarios here. So I don't know what the long-term plan is with this coaching staff, but I do like that. Hey, Frank Reich, he knows what he's doing. Tanner Engstrand was trying to figure out what he's doing. Musgrave knows what he's doing. Charles London was trying to figure out what the hell he's doing, and maybe he would have never been able to figure that out. So I do like that. Listen, they raised the floor in terms of a standard of operations here that's somewhat proven, and they're going to be able to see things on a more systematic level. Things are going to work because there's a proven formula to a lot of this stuff. I just don't see the ceiling, and I don't know if the creativity is going to be there. But with that said, overall, I think Glenn actually did a pretty good job in terms of what he was handed, or what he handed himself, when he kind of, cleaned the cupboard. And then he goes, you know what? I got to freaking piece this thing together sort of last minute. I think he did a good job in that regard.
You look at the quarterback hire, right? Bill Musgrave. And what was infuriating a year ago is you had a first-time OC, first-time head coach. They're talking this big game about how they could develop players and they could specifically coach up their own, and how Justin Fields was going to be like the poster boy for that. He was never coached properly, they said. They said that he was going to be a guy they were going to let play quarterback. And then they hired a quarterback coach who had very limited experience coaching quarterbacks and played running back collegiately and predominantly coached running back. So we killed the London hire all year. I can't be hypocritical and not give credit for the Musgrave hire as their QB coach. I will say, Bill Musgrave, you look at his recent stops, it's not that impressive. But again, I don't know how many people are going to turn, anyone in Cleveland into a good quarterback, and you could blame him. So I think too many people are making too much of like what his recent resume is. I like the hire. I think ultimately there's a mix of some good experience on the Jet staff, which they desperately needed. I don't love Reich as the OC. I wish he was like the senior assistant they added, pass game coordinator, assistant head coach, and they kept Engstrand. I agree. But I do think between Musgrave and Reich and maybe some upside with a guy like Seth Ryan, who knows Ben Johnson's offense, there's maybe a nice blend here given the circumstances. Again, I'm not trying to say this is a great staff and put lipstick on a pig, but I think it could have been a lot worse given, what the Jets look like when they fired their OC on January 27th and didn't hire a DC until January 28th. So I think it could have been a lot worse overall.
I agree with you. Yeah, I do. I also like Thomas Merkel. That's somebody else, sort of a younger mind coming in there. I'm curious how much say he's going to have in this operation here. I was listening to something that Frank Reich, an interview he had about 2 weeks ago before he got hired, obviously. And he was looking, Jake, into a senior offensive position, an assistant position of some sort, an advisory position, a consulting position. He was bringing that up, and during this interview, he goes, yeah, I'm still looking at those opportunities. Maybe if something better comes up, I'll look. I might go back to Stanford. It's kind of interesting 2 weeks later how he takes an offensive coordinator position with us. So he was actually looking for a position like you're suggesting. Listen, I like it. I also don't think this is going to dictate really much of who we are, and I don't know if it's going to dictate or have any direct effect on if we're able to break this, playoff drought that we're in. I think they can put some pieces together here with Seth Ryan and guys like Thomas Merkel. Maybe you can keep them around for a few years down the line, and then they could develop into roles here that are more important than probably what they're going to be walking into this year. But with that said, I mean, I think Glenn on the offensive side, and I loved me some Tanner Engstrand. I was probably his biggest fan. He did a good job in terms of piecing things together sort of last minute. Say what you want about Frank Reich. You can say whatever you want. I actually really like some of the stuff that he likes to do on offense. I do. I like, he's got these triangle concepts that he really likes. He loves to run those outside zone reads with running backs. He's just a really quality, kind of like old school, kind of West Coast mind that it works in the NFL. It does. Those are like timeless kind of concepts that kind of just raise your floor and stabilize that room a little bit. And they need that. With that said, I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I have no idea. We can speculate where they're going to go there. But I think you bring a rookie in here. You have Frank Reich preaching to the rookie some certain concepts, some of these timeless quarterback concepts. That'll always help the rookie out. Look what it did with Bryce Young. I know Bryce Young did not do well with Frank Reich in his first year necessarily. He was benched and whatnot. He got hurt. But he says to this day that Frank Reich actually helped him a lot in his whole developmental process in that first year there in Carolina. So
with that being said, and you kind of nailed it, right? Quarterback, what did the Jets do? We'll talk about that in a moment, but I want to let people know that on the show today, you have a chance to win a signed helmet by the man heavily featured in the Monday Night Miracle doc on Vice TV that aired last night. A Wayne Corbett signed helmet. Everyone who entered during the second stream yesterday, it was only a couple of you that will carry over into today. We'll combine the entries on this show and the afternoon show. Your chance to win a signed Wayne Corbett helmet. Plus, when you enter for that, you automatically are entered in Friday's raffle for a Nick Mangold signed jersey, Darrelle Revis signed helmet, and a jersey signed by each member of the New York Sack Exchange. So appreciate all the support from the Asmaniac community that allows us to continue these giveaways even in the off season where you'd think, well, there's less views, less revenue, but the community is so great. We will keep them rolling all off season long. With that said, Frankie, let's now talk about the quarterback situation. If you look at Bill Musgrave's resume, when he was the OC for Derek Carr for a couple of years in Oakland, those were the two best years Derek Carr had. A lot of speculation that Derek Carr would come out of retirement and play for the New York Jets. Your thoughts on how Musgrave being hired influences that and whether or not you actually could see Carr being the Jets bridge quarterback?
100%, man. 100% I can see it, definitely. And I think where there's smoke, there's fire there for sure. That connection with Bill Musgrave, you just brought it up, is 100% true. Derek Carr, his best years in the NFL, his only year he threw for over 30 touchdowns was also with Bill Musgrave. If you look at what Frank Reich wants to do, I just touched on it a little bit, but Derek Carr is that West Coast rooted kind of quarterback. He's a tall pocket kind of passer. He does run a lot of those triangle reads too, those concepts where you have three pass catchers sort of flooding a zone with two defenders and you're sort of picking which one. Carr likes to do that. So Derek Carr is definitely a legitimate option here. Also, remember years ago when they wine and dine Derek Carr, so there's the connection there with Woody Johnson and that ownership family as well in the Johnsons. So I think you're going to have to trade for Derek Carr because he's technically still under contract with the Raiders.
The Saints, but yep.
Sorry, the Saints. Yeah, so that's a possibility, Jake. I mean, if gun to my head, right, I would say it's around probably right under 50%, I would say. But the fact that it's even close to there shows that there's a legitimate chance that Derek Carr is in the room. Come training camp. There's really, and the other reason I'm saying that is, Jake, there's nowhere else to go for a quarterback here. There's really no real options. Via the draft, you're going to have to take a shot on somebody too early or too late where they're not going to be someone you could depend on to start as a rookie at all right? And then you're going to have to force your hand with either Ty Simpson or Garrett Nussmeier or Trinidad Chambliss, but he apparently wants to go back. So it doesn't really fit what we're looking for, I think, right now. And then free agency, where are you going to go? I was doing some tape study on Malik Willis. I'm not really in love with him. And Kirk Cousins might get released, but that's TBD. You're going to have to trade for Jacoby Brissett, and people are speculating, why would they even want to get rid of Jacoby Brissett there in Arizona? They don't have a quarterback there. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but there's a lot also of nothing going on here when it comes to quarterbacks. So
that's the problem, right? I mean, we can rattle off, 20 different names, and you can talk yourself into, I could see that, just because there's no obvious move here, right? I mean, Derek Carr, what concerns me is he's been injured a ton. Now he's a year removed from playing. He wasn't good the last time he played. He had shoulder surgery. He claims he's fully healthy now, but, he's 35 years old. Is the body going to hold up when you've been already injury prone in the past? I mean, we just watched Phillip Rivers come out of retirement after not playing for 5 years and look competent. So, I do think Carr could be solid. He's a good teammate. Guys I think will like him. I don't know. I think my number one would be Cousins because he played well down the stretch, and I think he's a good leader. I think eventually when the Jets draft someone this year, they would probably have, the opportunity to play that guy down the stretch, a day 2 quarterback, let's say it's like a Garrett Nussmeier type, and Cousins, I think, would be a good soldier at that point. I don't love Derek Carr, but I also can't sit here and look down on Derek Carr. I mean, the Jets' options are just not good. He's unfortunately one of the better options just based on the resume.
Yeah. I'd bring in Derek Carr, and I would try to raise the floor of that room. I'd try to start establishing a quarterback room. You got to start, what do they say? You have to crawl before you can walk, and you have to walk before you can run. I mean, we got to start just crawling as like a quarterback room, right? Like there's nothing in there. It's as bare as it can be. You got to bring in some players in there that are able to compete, bring in new concepts, help develop young guys, get your receivers involved properly, get Mason Taylor developed, bring in Derek Carr to compete, bring in another veteran to compete. I mean, look at what the Giants did. I'm sure those guys in there, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, helped Jackson Dart develop a bit throughout training camp and throughout like the first quarter or so of the season. Jackson Dart came in and looked pretty damn good if you look at how he played throughout the course of that season. So you got to kind of help out these rookies, and they help each other out too when it comes to game plans, right? Like, this is what you should do. This is where you should look. We just need some minds in there. We need some leadership intangibles too that some of these veterans have. So you got to develop that quarterback room. I think Derek Carr fits in terms of just that build. I wouldn't bring him in, Jake, and say, here's the keys. You're the starter like we did with Justin Fields. No, I wouldn't. I'd say you're coming in. You have to win the job. And I would do that with anybody, as a matter of fact. And that's it. That's that. You just got to start. I think Frank Reich's there. He'll give a lot of input and make that room better. Musgrave obviously will too. And then you have a veteran there, that room, you just start building a quarterback room that if a rookie comes in this year or next year, there's something there. There's pieces there, that there's knowledge there. There's nothing there right now. What the hell? This quarterback room, what's they're going to cut Fields probably. I don't know if he's going to be a pre or post. I assume it'll be a post June 1. What's going to happen? I mean, what are you going to – Brady Cook is going to be a practice squad guy. I don't even think he'll make the roster, honestly.
Yeah, I mean – I agree with you. Brady Cook won't be here. I think there's a chance that Hendon Hooker and Bailey Zappi duke it out for, QB3, depending on what the move is.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I've heard some people make the argument, well, why would Derek Carr choose the Jets? Why would Kirk Cousins choose the Jets? I don't know if there's that many opportunities around the league where they could be the unquestioned starter. Like, you come to the Jets, you're starting week 1. Now, I know that goes against a tweet you had yesterday that you'd only be interested in Carr if he'd be competing for the job. But that means they'd have to bring in, 2 veterans at that point? So let's say they signed Carr. Who'd be the other realistic veteran you'd put in where you'd have Carr competing for the job, if that's your approach?
I mean, listen, I wouldn't. This is weird to do, to trade for 2 veteran quarterbacks. But, I mean, I want Jacoby Brissett here. I think Jacoby Brissett in that room makes a ton of sense. He's got experience with Frank Reich. He runs an offense the right way. He knows how to get his receivers the ball. You saw what he did in Arizona. I mean, he was much better than Kyler was. He had Trey McBride had his best season. He had one of the best seasons of tight ends had in a long time. One of the best seasons of all time. You want Mason Taylor to eat a little bit, don't you? So I'd bring in Jacoby Brissett, and I don't know what he'd cost. He'd probably cost more than Derek Carr, but if you bring Brissett in and you bring in Derek Carr, you got something. Again, this isn't a great situation here. I'm not going to sleep at night like, oh, I'm excited for the season because we have Jacoby Brissett, duking it out with Derek Carr. But you got to do something, Jake. And if you don't want to give up draft day assets, which I'm kind of with, not doing it for both, kind of go one or the other, sign somebody, sign a Marcus Mariota, and then have him compete with Derek Carr, or have Marcus compete with Jacoby Brissett. But I'm not, Jake, you can't tell me with Derek Carr's injury history specifically that you're going to depend on him coming in here and just, being able to be your day 1 starter. Brissett's different. but have these guys compete, man. And that's what Aaron Glenn preaches. He preaches competition. Yeah, I agree with you. Derek Carr might not, but Derek Carr doesn't have any other options, man.
Right.
Like,
where's he going? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's gonna have to go somewhere, and he's gonna be their QB3 and try to work.
Well, let's play it out, right? Like go through teams that obviously need quarterbacks this offseason. The Raiders, they're gonna take Fernando Mendoza. After that, the Cardinals, the Dolphins come to mind. Pittsburgh, let's say they bring Rodgers back. I don't see that as a landing spot. Cleveland, maybe, but it sounds like maybe they give Shador, the full year with a
few young guys. They're not,
they're still paying Watson. I don't know if he'll ever play again, but they're still paying him. You look at the NFC North. I mean, maybe Minnesota's looking to add to that room if they want real competition for McCarthy because they got the team ready to win, but the quarterback obviously held them back. I mean, New Orleans has Shuck now. Carolina's good with Bryce. Atlanta, maybe.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a lateral move from Cousins to Carr. You're kind of doing the same thing there. I mean, there's like only not even a handful. You're talking like 3 or 4 teams. Miami,
where like he's clearly the starter and not having to like compete. Let's say Miami signs Malik Willis. Well, then Arizona, I guess, would be a spot for a Carr or Cousins. My point is, if Carr and Cousins are two guys that are viewed by people around the league as if you sign them, they're the unquestioned starter with maybe like a rookie behind them that eventually plays if they fall out of it, then the Jets, I think, offer a pretty good situation, believe it or not, because they have the infrastructure in place on offense. The defense sucks, but offensively, you have a good O-line. You have a number one receiver. You have a couple of nice complementary weapons in Mason Taylor and A.D. Mitchell. You have, I think, a decent running back room. We'll see what they do with Brees. Like, again, Aaron Glenn concerns me. The defense is an abomination. But at least offensively, if you're a quarterback, it's not the worst place to play if you really be objective.
No, it's not. I mean, there's pieces here. The offensive line should get better. I did a bunch of draft research. I sort of I sort of capped off all my draft research last night. There's some pieces here that you can team up with guards and wide receivers and other positions, running backs that could come in here and really make this offense pretty good. So there's avenues there via the draft to really make this offense a top unit, being top half of the league. This isn't the worst place for a quarterback to go, for sure. It's just not. At least you can reinvent yourself a little bit too. We saw it, and not to bring up this example, you remember when Chad Pennington was here, he got hurt, left, went to Miami, had a really great year in Miami. He was getting MVP consideration up until I think December. Maybe a quarterback wants to come here and sort of reinvent themselves a little bit. Derek Carr being one of them. Brissett, actually, if you look at his, I was like, what, can Brissett come here and do like a Ryan Fitzpatrick year? Ironically, they were both the same age. So like Brissett would be coming here at 33, like Fitzpatrick was at 33. Similar years that they had the year before. Got to try something. I'm Mr. Tanky V, but like, you got to come in week 1 and you don't start the year via tank, just because that's the assumption and that's what you think's going to happen. You got to come in here and try something. You got to put something together. You got to go balls to the wall, or else this league comes and goes, man. These coaches, they have, like I was just saying, 1 or 2 years at their spots before they go to the next place. So try to make something happen, and it could come in a variety of ways, but there's not many options, Jake, at quarterback. Yeah,
I mean, again, it's easy to say, just lose, but like Aaron Glenn has one chance to be a head coach. He's not trying to lose. He's not. He's going to try and save his job. They're going to do everything they can to win. And again, if you're a Jet fan, we say, just lose now, be miserable, but we're the ones who got to sit through it for another year. So ideally, they could actually prove, many of us, myself and you included, that have doubts on Glenn and felt they should have moved on. And he can make us eat our words and actually turn out to be a great coach. I mean, but there's no obvious path, but this is why these guys are paid a lot of money to coach guys up, get the most out of the talent they do have, which they didn't do this past year. Again, the Jets are now rebuilding. This was not a rebuild that Aaron Glenn inherited, no matter how many times delusional people try to say it was. It was not. When they were trying to win, they started 0-7. That's why they made the trades at the deadline.
Yeah, and look at all the rhetoric coming from Aaron Glenn in his first 2 months as head coach of the Jets. I mean, Did that scream rebuild to you? Like, if he was really thinking he was going to rebuild, would you come in like a jackass screaming at everybody saying how you're going to, turn this thing around and I'm not listening to you and you don't know what it means to be a Jet, etc., whatever he was saying. I mean, you don't come out like that if you really think it's going to be a slow and steady sort of rebuild. He did learn, I think, because he wasn't like that towards the end of the season. But
he got humbled. That's what happened.
Yeah, and that's life. I mean, that's inexperience in a nutshell. I mean, you were spot on, actually, out of everybody. I'll give you credit. You were the one content creator that was bringing up the fact that I don't want someone that has no prior experience. I don't want you to try to figure out how to do this on the job. And that's what that's what's happening. It's tough. It's tough to figure it out on the job. And that's something that we're seeing from Glenn in a variety of ways. So you were right in that assessment there. On the other side, you had some coaches that did figure it out and won a ton of games, like Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, etc. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, this team, at the end of the day, they need to put together an infrastructure on both sides of the ball that have long-term standing, right? That are you're going to look at in 3 to 4 years and say, well, what we did in 2026 directly correlates to where we are today in 2028, etc. And there's some pieces in the draft. We have 2 16 and 33 and 44, right? That is very, very, really good draft capital, dude. Like, you're not going to get much better than that. And there's no reason you're not getting impactful players. There's none. I went through all my draft stuff last night. I finalized everything. There's so many guys we can get at 2, 16, 33 that can really impact the scope of this team right off the bat, man. Right off the bat. And they got to get some of these picks right. They're not going to get them all right. I can't state that enough. People think, out of those 4 picks, you need 4 starters. It doesn't work like that. One's going to be a bust. 2, 16, 33, 44. One will not be a starter in 2 years. That's just how it is in the NFL. No one hits on 4 straight picks. But you need 2 all-pro caliber players that can be all-pros. You need the third player to be a starter on your team. And then chalk up one won't work out. But we got some draft capital, man. And that's this year. Next year, we have 3 first-round picks. This is the time for the Jets to rebuild and do it right. I'm really excited about this draft, man. There's some really good players in this draft that you can get in the first round. We can get 3 of them for sure, considering 33 is as valuable of a pick as any late first rounder in a lot of ways. So they can do a lot this year, man.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We'll talk about the draft with Frankie V in a bit. If you have a comment or question you want us to read, super chatting it is the best way. And for those who tuned in late, Wayne Corbett signed helmet is the giveaway today. And also for this week, since it's a little slow in Jetland, and we want to hear from the Asmaniac community as much as possible, when you call into the show, you'll earn a raffle ticket. That's right. If you participate, we reward you by putting you in our weekly and daily raffles. JJ, that's JJJAY. He became a channel member, the first to do it. He's the first to enter our Corbett helmet raffle at the end of the show. Give it up for our guy, JJ. Ralphie writes in, what about Kyler Murray? Where are you at on Kyler Murray?
Listen, man, I'm higher on Kyler Murray than most Jeff fans. I'm most fans. I just am. I understand all the reports about him not being interested in football and not loving the game and wanting to play video games, etc. A lot of that stuff's a little exaggerated, by the way, just throwing that out there. You don't get paid as much as he did twice with those kind of red flags, just throwing that out there. With that said, they're real, obviously. There's a lot of concerns about his love for the game. But as a quarterback, man, he had a year, he had over 3,900 passing yards, over 800 rushing yards in 1 year. I mean, like, you're not going to find that. That doesn't grow on trees, man. There's a reason he was the first overall pick. Again, reinventing yourself. Do I want Kyler Murray? No, I don't. But do I think Kyler Murray, considering the quarterbacks we just spoke about, is this catastrophic quarterback option. Oh my God, don't give me Kyler. Come on. Kyler, arguably, out of all the names we just brought up, is a better quarterback than all those names. Now, he's got to come here. He's got to rededicate himself to football. He's got to find a mentor here or somebody here that he has confidence in to kind of rewire him a little bit. He's got to find a new love for the game, which may never happen. So you're taking a chance on that. But if you do get some of that, Kyler will bust your ass on a football field. He will. Good luck. He's got a great arm. He's very difficult to track from an edge's perspective. They don't know where that dude's going. He keeps your defense completely off balance all game. He's not as bad as people are saying. Everyone's like, oh my God, I can't deal with Kyler. I mean, who do you want? You want Malik Willis or Marcus Mariota or Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr? I mean, what are we talking about here? So I'm bigger on Kyler Murray than most fans. I know Ryan at the Post, we go back and forth. He's like, if we get Kyler Murray, he's gonna denounce his Jets fandom. That's how much he hates Kyler Murray, which is kind of crazy to me. And Kaz was like, you know what, Ryan, I kind of now hope the Jets do get Kyler Murray.
It just doesn't feel like he's a Glenn QB. One, he's undersized, so that's
he's not a Reich Glenn. Yeah.
Well, Reich likes taller quarterbacks. Boomer Esiason went on a whole diatribe about that. He would know. He's very close with the guy. 2, Kyler Murray, they had to put a clause in his contract that he had to study film. Again, does that sound like an Aaron Glenn player? Now, maybe the Jets should do the opposite of what an Aaron Glenn player is.
Yes, there you go.
Like, ultimately, he still is going to have to sign off on the big quarterback move. And if the OC is against it and it doesn't fit the player that Glenn wants, I don't see Kyler Murray being a Jet. I could be wrong. Been wrong many times. I'll be wrong again. But I'd be very surprised if Kyler was their move.
Yeah, no, I would too. I think Kyler Murray is the kind of option where Malik Willis goes to Miami, Kirk Cousins goes somewhere else or stays in Atlanta, but I think he'll end up going somewhere else. Maybe he goes back to Minnesota. But Brissett, let's say, doesn't leave Arizona. Mariota signs somewhere else, right? And then you're left with really no options. You might call Arizona, work out something. They're going to try to offload that cap hit there with him. You know, he'd be a sort of, I think, for them, their last option. But I do think he's definitely an option at quarterback. And listen, man, I agree with everything you're saying about Kyler Murray. But when you're telling me a 28-year-old quarterback who was a first overall pick, who, he's had, over 20,000 yards passing already in the league. I'm looking now, 121 total touchdowns, 32 total rushing touchdowns. That 1 year, Jake, his second year, over 800 rushing yards, 11 rushing touchdowns, almost 40 on the year. I mean, maybe he can reinvent himself, take a shot. And if it blows up in your face, you end up tanking and being crappy anyway, and you move on. I just don't think he's like the worst option here if it's a dart throw, right? Like I would almost probably rather dart throw with him than Marcus Mariota, who you kind of know what you're going to get, in my opinion. But yeah, I do think that those are real concerns with Kyler Murray, his love for the game. He'd really have to completely rededicate himself to football, Jake.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Appreciate everyone tuned in. Click the like button. I'm going to gift the membership because we've only had one so far. I want to get people in our Wayne Corbett signed helmet raffle at the end of our second show. So if you get one for me right now, just know you're in both the daily raffle for the Wayne Corbett helmet and our weekly raffle series. One membership from yours truly. Hit it, Joe B.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
Blake McLaughlin is the recipient of the membership that I just gifted. So Blake, you're a channel member. We will put you in the raffle coming up at the end of our show this afternoon. And of course, we will put you in our weekly series as well. Appreciate everyone being tuned in. If you have a draft related question, we're going to get to that coming up. Got some super chats I want to get into as well, but I want to talk about something that happened yesterday. Sam Darnold did an appearance at one of my favorite places, Raising Cane's. He went to a Raising Cane's in the Seattle area, and apparently Seattle Seahawks fans were lining up like 7 hours before the event even started, just to get like a glimpse of Sam Darnold. But they invited the media there. Sam held a small presser inside the Raising Canes, and Justin Freed, who is a longtime Jets reporter, Jets content creator, he might live out there. I don't know exactly how he got to ask Sam Darnold this question, but he essentially asked Sam for his thoughts on all the Jet fans who were so happy that he won the Super Bowl. And this was Darnold's answer to that question.
The biggest thing, that's all you can ask for as a player is to be, feel supported, especially by the team that drafted me. And, I always look at myself and feel like I could have done a lot more for that franchise when I was there. And the fact that they're able to support me even through that means a lot.
Man, how do you not love Sam Darnold? What a guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I was being a real hater. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to deal with Sam Darnold being the Super Bowl MVP. I got a lot of hate for that. I was like, you know what? Give the Patriots another one. Who cares?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, Frankie.
That was a terrible take. That was not a good take of mine.
That was your worst take ever. That you actually
I took it back. I took it back.
Patriots.
No. That's not that was exaggerated.
Kaz said you were rooting for the Pats. You said you didn't want to see Darnold get a ring and hear all about it.
I wasn't rooting for the Pats. What I said is what I did say, and the tape will prove it, but I did take it a little bit back. I walked it back a little bit because I say stupid.
How are your hamstrings?
You've used that before on me. No, what I did say was we are not gonna. It's not going to be a pleasant morning the morning after. It's going to hurt more the morning after if Darnold is a Super Bowl MVP, which he wasn't, but regardless, him winning a Super Bowl, we will be more sad as a fan base the morning after Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl than if the Patriots were to get 7 or whatever.
No, it would not.
Yeah, but you know what? I was wrong about that take. See, the difference between me and some other people in the world, in content world, is I'll admit when I'm wrong. I actually took it back the day before the Super Bowl, so it was just a talking point on gangs. I was just kind of throwing it out there.
How dare you? I have too much respect for you to
you're right.
You to think that there's anything normal about what you said. Here's the thing with Darnold, right? The Jets clearly failed him, and he has never once blame them when he easily could. All these other guys leave the Jets. Even Morgan Moses, who I really love, threw a little pot shot at the Jets this past week when being asked about how, can you believe the Pats are here in the Super Bowl after they only won 4 games last year? And he was like, brother, do you see the team I was on last year? Like, again, like all these guys take shots at the Jets. He never has. And he's the one guy where it'd be justified if he did it. The second they hired Adam Gase, any chance of Sam Darnold succeeding in New York, it died. And he has the mindset to say, quote, I always look at myself and feel like I could have done a lot more for that franchise. Every Jet fan is so happy for Sam Darnold. How dare you even think, even if you walked it back, Tanky V, that somehow New England winning a 7th ring, year 1 of a new coach, year 2 of a young 23-year-old quarterback, would somehow be the better scenario than a guy we all love and root for and hope the best for winning his first championship.
All right. Well, I'll throw this at you, right? I'll throw this at you. I want to get your take on this, or anyone in the comments. Do you think Sam Darnold gave it his all here? Do you think he gave us his best? Because the mono situation happened, right? That was just by chance. I'm not blaming him for that. But I do think that he looks back on his Jets career and he wishes he would have done things better. And I think he takes responsibility for that, which is being a man. But maybe he knows he didn't give it his all here. Maybe
he did give it his all.
Did he?
Yeah. What could you point to that would point to the fact like he didn't study hard enough, or he wasn't the best teammate, or tried to be the best leader? He didn't start himself right away as a rookie, right? He didn't hire Adam Gase as his head coach. He didn't let Robbie Anderson walk in free agency after 2019. Sam was 7-6 as a starter that year when he played. He obviously missed the games at the beginning of the year because of mono, and the schedule was soft and what have you. But there were moments with Sam the first 2 years where like the reason why we felt like we got the guy was because we saw the flashes. We saw games. Zach Wilson, you maybe saw a half at best. You saw a throw here or there. Sam Darnold gave you a stretch the last 4 games of his rookie year.
Yeah, he had
led the NFL. He led the NFL in pass already. Remember that game against Rodgers when they were going back and forth? Like, come on.
Well, what I'm saying there, I'm not saying this as like an off the field thing. I'm saying with Sam, I think he lost trust in the offense completely and started
because they hired Gase.
Yeah, but if you look into it a little bit more, like I read this whole thing about Sam, and it's I don't listen. I'm not blaming him per se for it. It kind of just happens with young quarterbacks, but I think he does blame himself a little bit in regards to wanting to play sort of the hero ball, like not taking what the defense is giving you and forcing too many throws over and over and over again. And if you read what he learned in San Francisco, which yes, you could blame us for that definitely, but I do think he feels like he left a lot on the table here to be desired that he could have put together and sort of never really.
He's a great leader, that's why. But like he didn't he's saying the right things. Like he's taking accountability because that's what the quarterback, the CEO of the team is supposed to do. It's not his fault. Again, they did not put him in the best position to develop and succeed. That's why he failed. He was the right pick, clearly, and they blew it. I mean, ultimately,
he was the best. Yeah, he was a great pick. I was when Cleveland drafted Baker Mayfield and that report came out almost basically the day of. That came out of left field in a lot of ways. I mean, I was so freaking happy when we drafted Sam, man. The Giants ended up getting Saquon, and then we got Sam. I mean, that was like, if I could do a backflip, I would have. It's just sad, man. It's sad. And I'm also trolling a little bit here. I'm kind of just being a jackass.
You're walking it back. Your hamstrings are.
Listen,
you're worse than Glenn. I never said when Jet fans would be proud.
You know what? Glenn actually had a. You know what? Let's think about. Glenn had that point. Glenn had. He might be right about that. He never said when you'll be proud. What are you gonna be proud now or later? You know.
No, he did say what he said. He actually did say though in that clip when asked about the expectations for this year. He's like, if we're a team Jet fans are proud of. So then he was like, well, I never said. You did say that though. That's the thing.
No, listen, I'm happy for Sam. Listen, the game ended up going perfectly, right? Like Sam didn't win the MVP, so I'm not, it's whatever. They won. The Patriots didn't win. I hate the Pats, by the way. Like I really do. So I was throwing it out there on the show. Like
Frankie V, you've done the unthinkable.
Unbelievable. It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes a little bit of perspective, just throwing it out there. I just, man, it sucks when the guy that you drafted and should still be our quarterback, is winning a Super Bowl with another team. Like it's
Frankie, you've done the unthinkable.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Live from the hole is Frankie V. Big fella sent them there, rooting for the Pats is hole-worthy. I'm disgusted, Tanky. We failed Sam. Definitely your worst take ever, and that's saying something. F the Pats.
Well, hey, it's been a pleasure, everybody. I love the Jake Asman show. I love all the fans out there. I never said I was rooting for the Pats. I said it's going to hit us harder than we imagined, but I was wrong. It's okay.
You're going to do the rest of the show from the hole.
All right. I like it. I'm used to this, I'm used to these this perspective here.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Tanky V is in the hole for the remainder of the show. A couple super chats, and then want to get some quick draft thoughts with you, then we'll wrap this one up with you. I'll stay on for the rest of the calls. Right now, there's only one man on hold, so call in. If you want your voice heard, you'll earn a raffle ticket if you call in this week. We'll do a little listener appreciation, kick off the offseason here. The trivia. This is our guy, Asman, says Jets, Jets. That is a well-timed, well-used 29-month Asmaniac. For chat, thank you, Asman. Doc Jetfan says, I wouldn't want Kyler Murray anywhere near a newly drafted QB. That's another thing for me. Again, the new quarterback that they take, and it might not be in round one, but Frankie, they'll take someone on day two at some point, I think we expect. And when that happens, do you want Kyler Murray as the guy this quarterback is learning from? I don't think so.
No, that's a good point. That's a fair point. I think with Frank Reich there, he'll be the one responsible for that development there. So I don't think Kyler will get involved at all. So I mean, yeah, I hear you. You don't want him involved. He won't even be involved though. So that'll be something for Frank Reich. There's a few quarterbacks on day 3 that are kind of interesting that we can look at too, as people, as people are talking about them. I'm kind of interested in guys like Taylon Green is someone I'm really interested in. I don't think we're the team for him because we can't develop even really good quarterbacks, aka Sam Darnold. But yeah, there's some quarterbacks there, but I'm with you. That's a fair comment. Totally.
Here's the thing. You look at Kyler Murray and like, maybe he's the best option, but like, again, the Jets aren't going to win anything with Kyler Murray. I don't see it. So I want someone like a Cousins who's great with the quarterback mentoring and would be a good teammate. And Brissett would be really good in that role as well. I think that logically makes more sense than a guy who, again, they needed to put a clause in his contract for him to study. That's the guy you want your young QB learning from. And here's the other thing. I listened to an interview Sam Darnold did this past week. They asked him who's been the most influential person in his NFL career. He said Josh McCown. He said Josh McCown, his rookie year, taught him how to play the position, taught him how to study, taught him how to break down film. They need that level of veteran. It's why Joe Douglas, who is a disgrace the more we really think back to the totality of his tenure, he allowed Zach Wilson to have only Mike White and James Morgan as the only quarterbacks on the roster, whoever it was. They had to trade for Flacco in the middle of the season because they had no veteran in there to help Zach. And obviously Greg Knapp passed away. And so it's just mind-boggling to me that they allowed that. But again, Sam still talks about McCown that first year being so influential for him. And notice, Sam didn't break out until McCown was his quarterback coach, working with him directly in Minnesota under Kevin O'Connell 2 years ago. So
yeah,
Kyler Murray,
I want to do what we have to find a way. I don't know how, but we have to find a way to get Josh McCown back here in the next couple of years. I don't know how. I don't know what the move is. I haven't looked into it, but Josh McCown, I've met him before too. What a great guy. Like all about the Jets, loves the Johnsons. Did well here. Coached up Sam to a degree. Like, we need Josh McCown back here in some role. I don't know what role. I don't know. OC. I mean, he was rumored to be in the head coaching conversation last year. I was sort of advocating for him at a point, but we got to bring Josh McCown back home, bro. You know, I feel like he loves the Jets. He wants to be here. And that Minnesota thing, that thing's going to implode potentially. If JJ McCarthy doesn't work out there, that whole situation, I know you've spoken about it with KOC, but damn, please, I would love Josh McCown to come back here, man. I really would.
Oh, be awesome if they got him back. Some super chats. Mace B, you're in TV docs now. If I was AG, I'd call you to get you on my side for daily good PR and hype. He obviously knows you. Again, I can't be bought or sold, though. Like, Aaron Glenn could call me, and I'd say the same things I said to Mike Tannenbaum on the radio to him. It's not personal. I'm a Jet fan. I hope he proves me wrong, but I'm not going to just be a shill for the organization. I think that's why people tune into the show, Mace B, because they know I'm honest. You have every right to disagree with me. That's your right. It's a sports, a talk show. We give opinions. But, like, Glenn could call me, and it wouldn't change my opinion of him. You know, maybe I'd be a little softer, just human nature. But, like, again, I think he's been horrible thus far. And I hope he significantly improves in year 2 because I make my living talking about the Jets. And I promise all of you, it's a lot more fun and a lot more beneficial financially when the team is not dog crap. Trust me.
Yeah. That's one thing, Jake, about you that I've always respected. And I try to be that way myself, too, is like you're honest about the Jets. Completely. You give a perspective completely from your fandom and your love for the team, and nothing about you working in media affects those opinions. And too often you see media personalities doing exactly that, you know, like building relationships with coaches and owners and stuff that affects what the actual take is and what the actual what the reality is. I mean, the reality is Aaron Glenn was a disaster year 1. It just is what it is. And he's lucky to still be the coach here. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. And if you're looking around the league now, how many one and dones there are, it's more often than not. It's happening more now than ever. Now, is that a good thing? I don't know. That's to be determined, but you're seeing teams be successful doing it. Look at the team that was in the Super Bowl. They just went through a one and done, and they got to the Super Bowl the year after. So, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world, right? But yeah, listen, Woody gave Glenn all the keys, made him the head honcho. He's the CEO here. Let's see how year 2 works out. I was going to, it's fair to give him another year also. We can say he should have gotten fired, but in reality,
he didn't. So now he's getting the second year. We hope that makes the most of it.
That's all you can do.
Chef Kevin in the house. Jake, we're lucky you didn't poop the bed at Radio Row like how Tanky did during the Senior Bowl. That's today, tomorrow, and yesterday. Let's go, Jets. Bang. That's a great one, Chef Kev. In the raffle for 2 with that one, too.
Am I the only content person to go to the Senior Bowl with media creds and not go to a practice?
It's just amazing to me you didn't make it to one because you were actually there one of the days and then just left and then never came back for the actual practice. I missed about half of it because they fired Engstrand and then hired the Duke. So I left one early to do a stream and then I went to one late to do a stream. But I mean, you didn't. Yeah, there. You took 2 connecting flights to make it, and you couldn't even make it to a damn practice, Tanky.
Well, as I said when I was on your show during that week, if they would have given me my credentials and not make me wait 3 hours to just hand me a card or whatever, what the hell was that? They wouldn't give it to me. The box was right there. I go, your credentials are right there. Can you give it to me? No, you have to wait till 12:30. It was like 9:45, so I waited till 12:30. I had I had all this stuff in my bag. What was I going to wait until 3 for practice?
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what normal people do, man.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Jetstream writes in, Frankie, wash your mouth out with sandpaper. F the Patriots. Damn.
Listen, there is nobody that hates the Patriots more than me, okay?
One of them to win the Super Bowl.
No, I don't want them to win. I said, don't be surprised if it's going to sting more the day after with Sam being the Super Bowl MVP than it will if the Patriots win another one. I was not rooting for the Patriots. No, I was not. I did bet on the Patriots, though, with the points. I did. And I was surprised that the Seahawks did win that game handily. I read that game completely wrong. I'll be completely honest about it. I really thought, they would be able to establish a running game a little bit. So rooting, it was because I put money on them. I wasn't rooting. I don't want the Patriots to win. I can't stand anything Boston related, trust me. But yeah, I mean, to Mike McDonald's credit, man, like what that guy did this year with Seattle was incredible, was really incredible from start to finish. And if you look at some of the things he did, Jake, on the field, Josh McDaniels is a little bit predictable in what he does. He sort of runs the same stuff over and over again, year after year. Kind of wants his quarterback to play within a little bit of a phone booth. And when you get that timing off a little bit, and you saw what those D-backs were saying when Drake May, when he plants on that back foot, he's looking to throw across the middle of the field. You got to jump those. To their credit, man, they had their number all day. And it's good for us, I guess, because it feels like we always have defensive coaches to see somebody actually go there from start to finish and actually win a Super Bowl. Being a defensive-minded head coach, because it feels like we can't get away from those guys. And I think he's the first head coach to call the defense, right? A defensive coach to call the defense to win a Super Bowl. Mike McDonald, I think ever in NFL history, there's never been a head coach to win a Super Bowl that was actually calling the defense, which is kind of interesting, right? So maybe Aaron Glenn will become the second one.
That might be worse than your Patriots thing. I mean, again,
listen, I have bad takes on your show. It is what it is. Kaz actually liked the take. Ryan thought I was crazy, but
because Kaz likes chaos. Kaz wouldn't tell me, by the way. Did you watch my interview with him when I had him on?
I did. It was good. It was really good.
He wouldn't tell me, even off air, who the coach was that texted him, what's Jake's issue with Glenn?
Wait, say that again?
So Kaz said on the show that there was a coach who's not employed by the Jets. That's all he would say. But I'm assuming was at some point employed by the Jets, just connecting dots. So he texted him saying,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
what's Jake Asman's issue with Aaron Glenn? Kaz said that. And then afterwards, I asked him, I'm like, who was the coach? And he wouldn't tell me.
Oh,
It's
really?
a source. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's funny, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're definitely making the rounds of the Aaron Glenn hater club. You're the leader of it, man.
It's crazy. Big country. Never in my life, Jake, would I think you'd have a Pats fan as a special guest. He's almost as bad as Charles Gorman. Wow. It's a tough one to get back up from, Frank. Yeah, we've never had a guest have to do most of the show from the hole.
This is a punishment for having a bad take. It is what it is. I'll accept my punishment.
M123. Darnold is the closest I'll get to seeing the Jets in the Super Bowl. Well, they did draft the Super Bowl winning quarterback, M123.
Yeah, they did. That is true. Isn't it crazy, man, how if you look throughout NFL history and how many teams have done what the Seahawks have done with a quarterback on their fourth, fifth team, right? I mean, it's rare. It doesn't really happen often. You've seen some journeymen like Brad Johnsons of the world kind of winning a Super Bowl, but they weren't at the caliber of quarterback play that Sam is. So it's rare. If you go throughout history, you don't really see a quarterback with Sam's journey winning a Super Bowl, especially having the year he had. Basically he was an MVP candidate this year. So it's wild. Minnesota's definitely looking at themselves in the mirror the morning after saying, what the hell were we thinking? I mean, that could have been us,
Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion, baby.
I am happy. No, I'm
yeah.
1,000,000%. I'm happy for the guy, man. He deserved it, man, for him to go through what he went through. And his stint in San Francisco is really interesting. If you go into it, it's online, but you can, look into what Kyle Shanahan was preaching to him and some of the things that he actually learned from Brock Purdy in terms of taking what the defense gives you and now forcing throws was something that you saw in his development. A lot of times he would force things because he can make any throw on a field, but it's 2nd and 12. Take the underneath route for 4 yards. Make third down more manageable. That was a big part of his development, which you're right, Jake. He didn't get any of that here.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Joey R. Frankie V, how about Carson Wentz? We could do worse.
Yeah, man. I think Carson Wentz's career as an NFL starter is gone, dude. I just think between the injuries and he's got some stuff going on upstairs too, apparently, and his leadership intangibles aren't there. A lot of guys in locker rooms aren't a big fan of his. So you want to bring him in as a backup, all right. But where are we going here? It's a good thought. I mean, he did have his best year. His last best year was with Frank Reich, right? And then in 2017, obviously, when they won the Super Bowl, he wasn't calling plays, but Wentz was an MVP candidate before he got hurt. So there's something there. You want to bring him in if he's willing to, take a back seat and compete and help the room out. I'm fine with that, but that's about where it ends for me with him,
No thanks on Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Good God. Ugh. Good God. Well, Frankie, I'll get you out of here with this. If the NFL draft was held today, your prediction for who the New York Jets select at pick 2 and 16 is?
My prediction or who I want?
Your prediction. How do you see it actually playing out?
I think they're going to take Arvell Reese. Wouldn't be my first choice there. I don't think it's a bad selection. It's just not my favorite selection there. I think there's too much work to be done with him as an edge for me to feel comfortable taking an off-ball linebacker at 2 when you have an edge in David Bailey or even Ruben Bain who can cause chaos and really change the scope of your defense regardless of what schemes you're running. So I would rather take one of those two guys, but if they want to take Reese, I get it. 16 is going to be interesting. I'm seeing a lot of different things there. I think they're going to look at defensive tackle at 16. honestly, I think they might double up. They might go Reese because I don't think they view Reese as a defensive lineman. They view him as an off-ball edge. I think they could be looking at defensive tackle, someone I really like, and I would feel totally comfortable taking him at 16. If anyone knows who people know Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. I think if he's on the board, Jake, I cannot see them passing him up, especially now with Carl Dunbar coming in here and them wanting to run a little bit more of a 3-4. You're going to need a traditional nose tech, a one technique, or someone that can two gap as a nose guard. Caden McDonald's your guy. So I could see that. I could see them taking Reese and Caden McDonald and then waiting to maybe go the receiver route at 33 and 44. But yeah, I have my whole draft guide that I'm going to come out with, like how to fix the Jets via the draft. I'm going to be going to the post tomorrow. We're doing a little bit of a show. I have some good players, man, that I think we can bring in this draft. If you can get your first, the top 50 in this draft has some studs. After that, you're going to be kind of reaching a bit, but we have 4 picks in the top 50. So there's some quality players there for sure. But yeah, if I had to guess, Arvo Reese 2, and then I think they're going to take a defensive tackle at 16. And I hope it's Caden McDonald, but it could be Peter Woods too. So yeah, I would say one of those 2 guys.
Tanky, excellent job. Besides your Patriots Darnold take. Other than that, always enjoyed the conversation, man. We'll do it again soon.
I appreciate you guys. Later.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's our guy, Mr. Tanky V, checking in. Good stuff from the Tank Man himself. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in to the show. We couldn't do it without you. You guys are the best. We got a Wayne Corbett signed helmet as the giveaway today, so make sure you enter for your chance to win that. The Jets have finalized their offensive staff. Bill Musgrave, who's been an OC 3 different times, including for the Raiders when Derek Carr had his best 2 seasons, is now a popular name being linked to the Jets. That's right. Carr to the Jets. That's the buzz. Will they make that move? Here's the thing. You'd have to trade for him. It wouldn't cost a lot, though. Maybe like a 5th-round pick, 6th-round pick. Because the Saints do have his rights. But we'll see. I'm not in love with the idea of Derek Carr, but at the same time, could I see it? Yeah, I could. I mean, they don't really have too many better options. I prefer Cousins or trading for Jacoby Brissett. I agree with Frankie's take on that. But we shall see. We will get to your calls. Appreciate everyone being tuned in. Now, if you missed it, I talked about this at the start of the show. I've been promoting it the last few days. I was one of the people they interviewed for the Vice TV doc all about the Monday Night Miracle that came out last night. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a short clip from the doc. And of course, you can watch the full thing over on Vice. We'll play this clip and then we will get to your calls. I want to thank the audience again and thank everyone who already tuned in. Here's a little bit from the doc that aired again last night. It's called Don't Call It a Comeback. It's a series where they feature different incredible comebacks throughout sports history. And the Jets' miracle win on Monday night was the topic for the episode. Here's a short clip from the hour-long doc.
The Jets regroup for one last chance to tie the game. In 3 minutes, they move the ball to the 3-yard line of the Dolphins.
I'm thinking that they're going to run the ball to Curtis Martin.
Instead, on 3rd and goal and time running out, the New York coaching staff looked deep into their playbook. With the game in the balance, the Jets designate offensive lineman Jumbo Elliott as an eligible receiver.
The play comes in, and Benny comes back to the huddle like he's about to tell us a secret. He says, all right, guys, we're going to Jumbo. And we're all like, the game's on the line, and you're going to throw the ball to Jumbo, but then it's like brilliant. I think he would be the last thought that the Dolphins or their coaches or the owners or anyone would ever think that we're going to throw the ball to Jumbo.
For good reason. In his 13 years as an NFL offensive lineman, the 6'7", 308-pound John Jumbo Elliott has never even been targeted with a pass in a game.
It was a very quick play. It was a fake handoff to one of us. Like as soon as he would fake it, he would come back up and throw the ball because Jumbo guarantee is going to be open.
When Vinny drops back in play actions, you can't believe it. that you seen him throwing it to Jumbo Elliott.
And really, it was all happening in slow motion.
It felt like that ball was in the air forever watching it live in real time.
And he bobbles the ball. We're flipping out like he's gonna drop the ball.
We knew that he could catch the ball, but we always questioned it, because he wasn't the most agile guy. You could see Jumbo's face, and it's like his eyes were crossed, his mouth was wide open, and you could just tell, like, he was trying to do everything to not drop that ball.
Is he gonna catch this thing, or like what's gonna happen? And he falls on it,
and he cuddles it, without hitting the ground. Did he make that catch? We're looking on the screen. We're looking up, and all of a sudden you see, and the place erupts.
Even though a lot of people had left, it was so loud.
I mean, to this day, it's one of the more iconic moments in the history of the Jets. And really, it's one of the most iconic plays in the history of the NFL on Monday Night Football, with the entire nation watching, this historic comeback.
Check it out on Vice. Shout out to Vice TV. Really cool. I had no idea Curtis Martin was even going to be featured in the doc. He doesn't do a ton of media since he retired. So good to see Curtis. It was awesome. All right, to your calls we go. Don't have a ton of you on the line right now, but there is at least one man that's on the line. And the question has to be asked, can we hear him?
Can you hear me?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Good job. What's up? How you guys doing today? What's up, Jake? How you guys doing? So let's talk about some sports takes. So can you hear me? For the Jets, I think Derek Carr is linked. I think he'd be a very good option. And then second, I really disagree with Frankie V's takes on the draft so far. Good job. I think two defensive players. It's like probably the worst take I've ever seen, Jake. Shoot me, Jake. If we're going defense with both the picks, shoot me. One of the worst decisions. We gotta go one defensive player, whether it's Ruben Bay number 2, Cornell Tate number 2, and then number 16 is very hard, or maybe David Bailey. But I would go one wide receiver, whether it's Malachi Lemon, or we go Cornell Tate. We got to get wide receiver, and then we need to get one defensive player. If I was me, get one offensive player, one defensive player, and honestly, go Jets. Yeah. My bad for that.
Can you speak louder a little bit?
Yeah, no, my bad for that. It's too loud. Can you hear me?
Oh, Mad Max. I'm getting yelled at by someone at the gym. Being told to speak lower. Mad Max. Punch that guy in the face. How dare he try and tells you to speak lower? How dare you, sir? Man, it's tough. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line, call in if you want. In on the show, you will earn a raffle ticket. That's right. Calls have been a little slow, so we'll do a little listener appreciation. We got Asmaniac Madness coming up. The committee's meeting Sunday to start discussing the bracket. The tournament is upon us. We'll have official dates for everything in the not-so-distant future. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Join, and you'll get all the perks you get when you're a member, like your name in the intro, bonus shows, exclusive events, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to make the Vice TV doc available on Patreon. So if you want to watch the full hour-long doc, if you sign up for the Patreon, I'll make sure I upload it so my listeners can exclusively watch it. Obviously, we can't air it on YouTube because it will be copyright infringed. But if you want to see it, I will make it available later today on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Help support the show. You'll get 20% off every item in the merch store year-round. You'll find out about exclusive events before anyone. And the Discord access is the best perk, I think, by far. Ladies and gentlemen, he was just told to shut his mouth. Nobody tells Mad Max to shut his mouth. We go back to the call-in line right now.
If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, that boy, he's jamming. He's standing, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
Is this better sound, Jake? Can you still hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, Mad Max. That guy also that tried to tell you to shut up, he certainly heard you.
What are your thoughts on my earlier takes with the defensive players? With Frankie V send the whole 2 and 16 both defensive players. Shoot myself if we go defense. Honestly, what do you think of that? And then
Good job.
I met the Frankie V saying, "Oh, let's go both defensive players." He was like, "Oh, we're gonna take both Ruben Bain, and then we're gonna take the other defensive player. Shoot me if we go defensive players. Shoot me." Probably one of the worst draft decisions ever made.
Good job.
And then Derek Carr is.
Can you hear me?
I think he might go out of retirement to be on the Jets. What's your thoughts on that, Jake?
My thoughts, Mad Max, is that the Jets need to draft good football players.
That's true. We do. I mean, we do have $3 billion, so we can use the $3 billion we have to get all the ice baths in. Maybe get some players that actually have muscles. You know, look at these muscles. What are the players right now? We're weak. We don't have muscle. We don't have muscles. We don't have players who don't have. They're weak. Most of the players they'll cry every time. They don't have. Every time it goes bad for the Jets, it goes just horribly. The players just fold under pressure. We need to get players who have no quit in them. They fight. That's what we need is players, Jake.
Mad Max, we need an Aaron Glenn, to quote you, salsa dance.
Let's see how this is the Aaron Glenn. This is Aaron Glenn's brand of football. See if you can see me now with the thing, but this is this is what Aaron Glenn does all day today. This is his brand of football, the salsa dancing. That's his brand. Honestly, Jake, I need to get to my leg workout. Have a good show, Asmaniacs.
Thank you, Mad Max. Tremendous. All right, last chance to get in here. Joey R with a super chat. Only 2 generational players in the draft, Downs and Bailey. I do think that Downs is one of the 5 best players in the draft. I don't obviously value the position to do it at number 2. Bailey, I don't think is generational. I disagree with that. I think he's good. I don't think he's generational. Abdul Carter gets the generational label. Myles Garrett gets that label. Will Anderson gets that label. Bailey, I don't think gets that label. More calls. Carl is next. What's up, Carl? Carl, we can't.
Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Oh, now we can.
Listen, you guys. Can you hear? Can you hear me now?
We hear you, Carl. There's a bit of a delay.
Can you hear me, Jake?
Oh boy.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Shit! I dropped my phone. I got it. Can you hear me? Hey, Jake, I got to call you back.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Good job.
All right, can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, this is God. We hear you.
Someone please acknowledge me.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Jake?
God will acknowledge you, Carl.
Yes, I can. Who's this, Mad Max?
This is God.
Good job.
Okay. All right. I wanted to say something. I had a point to make.
Mad Max is also here.
With God.
Oh, my God. Hey, you going to let me talk or what?
Carl, please, we're listening.
Hello? Jake?
Carl?
Okay, I'm talking about the Monday Night Miracle game. Can we talk about the Monday Night Miracle game?
We've been waiting, Carl.
Oh, God. Anyway, Monday Night Miracle, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I was living in Florida and had to put up with a lot of shitty Dolphin fans for a very long time. So I'm watching Monday Night Football by myself, And I was so depressed over that game. I just couldn't believe it. So all of a sudden, the comeback starts. And a friend of mine who I used to watch football with all the time in Florida, he calls me. It's probably, 11:30 at night? And we're on the phone watching the last of the game, going fucking crazy. Jake, when Jumbo scored that touchdown, I don't think I went to sleep that night. It was one of the most exciting moments of my Jet watching experience. Anyway, that was it. That's my story.
Great story, Carl.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you again.
No problem. Thanks, Carl.
Can you hear me?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Good job.
Carl, great call. Really enjoyed the story. What a show this has been, huh? Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Few calls left. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line right now is none other than the incomparable Chuck Wagon.
Chuck Wagon's always cooking, which it takes. Chuck Wagon's even cooking at the game. Chuck Wagon hates McDonald's, but he's headed home to cook. It's time once again for Chuck Wagon.
Hey, Jake. Long time no see.
Hey, Chuck.
I'm glad to hear the news about the offensive side assistant coaches that were hired. I think it is a good start in the right direction for us. It's still not complete, but it makes us seem kind of respectable, and maybe more free agents, especially on the offensive side, will probably want to come to us more, especially the quarterbacks, wide receivers, skilled position players. Again, still too early. September is a long way away, but I think it was a step in the right direction. Baby steps.
I think that's fair. I don't think it's a great staff by any means, but I think they probably raised the floor from what was a brutal staff all around last year.
It feels like when you're starting from zero, all you can do is go up.
Right. So some Jet fans who lean on the optimistic side will talk themselves into it. I think if we're objective, it's probably better, but this is not a great staff. There's only one team that was dying to hire Frank Reich to be their quote head coach of the offense,
Well, people have been wrong before about hiring. So, maybe we can strike gold and, prove everybody wrong. That's all you can ask for.
Now, Chuck Wagon, I don't know what you did to inspire Jets Forever #2, but I don't know if you're aware of this. He has already sent in massive amount of super chats that are donated to you to try and win a raffle on Friday, because you didn't win this past Friday when we were at the Super Bowl. And he told me he will stop at nothing till you win one of the prizes. So if you caught the show yesterday, you saw the big super chat he sent in, but you're going to have a chance again because of Jets Forever #2.
Yes, thanks to him, Jets Forever. That's very nice of you. Very generous. I can't thank you enough for doing that. And hopefully Jake doesn't rig it so I keep losing, so he keeps having to pay. So who knows?
Hell yeah, Chuck Wagon. I hope you win.
Have a good one. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chuck Wagon checking in. Comments, questions, super chats were presented by FanDuel. Shout out to FanDuel. They were nice enough to invite me to their Super Bowl party they did for Counting Crows and Green Day. FanDuel and Spotify. And I got a shirt. So we love FanDuel on this show. Although if you listen to my bet the Knicks, lay the points take last night, you lost money. So I apologize. No one's perfect. That was a brutal Nick loss. But it is what it is. It's February. I won't go crazy. We'll see how they bounce back tonight against the Sixers. All right, one last call, and then we will wrap this baby up. So if you want your voice heard, Super Chat is the best way. Again, we'll be back this afternoon. We got quite the show this afternoon. Green Bean is coming on in the 4 p.m. Eastern hour. So get ready for that. Let's go.
Now there's a gas station over here. I'm going to go get some pizza and see if they have any butter to put on it.
Can you hear me, Jake?
Can I hear you, Gary? I can.
I'm having some internet issues. I don't know. I gotta try a new internet provider. So my internet sucks almost every day now. But is this real? Derek Carr, Jake, please tell me this is not real.
People are making the connections, right? Derek Carr, Bill Musgrave, Frank Reich likes taller quarterbacks. Derek Carr might be the best of the mid options.
No, he's not, Jake. Like we did this, like with Rodgers when we got Rodgers back in 2022. Like the debate was Rodgers or Carr. I was like, okay, like Rodgers is 40 years old. Let's just do that because there's no chance, even with that team, could we compete with Derek Carr. Like Derek Carr at his best is like the 24th best quarterback in football. He's not good. Like he's had like one good season in like 2014 and never like. He's not good. Can we just like accept that Derek Carr sucks at football? Can I just no Derek Carr? I'd rather do Nick Faria's idea and get the backup from the Eagles. At least I don't know anything about that guy, right? Like sometimes the devil you don't know is better than the devil you do. Derek Carr, bro. Derek Carr. Come on. I'd rather do Kirk Cousins. I'd rather do Kyler Murray. No Derek Carr. No, not even once. Not even to see how it feels. Absolutely not.
I don't know. I mean, Derek Carr was bad the last year he was in New Orleans. He wasn't awful that first year from what I remember.
You guys hate Spencer Rattler. He got benched for Spencer Rattler. You guys hate Rattler's garbage, right?
Well, but the team was awful. That's why. So they made a change. He was hurt too.
I understand.
Chad Pennington got benched for Kellen Clemens. A year later, took the Dolphins to the playoffs.
No, that's true.
That's not always the best example, is my point.
You're right. Well, Chad Pennington other than injury, had a history of always being very good. Like there was never a time that he was healthy where he wasn't very good. Derek Carr has never been anything better than mediocre. And I don't even hate him as much as some people do. He's what is he, about 34 years old now? Like, there's no upside in bringing him here. If you bring him in, you're bringing him in here for a year, but he's not even good. Like, at least Cousins might be good. I mean, probably not. But, like, Cousins has a history of being, I would say, above average for a lot of years. Has Derek Carr, other than 1 year with the Raiders back in Oakland, that's how long ago that was, has he ever really been above average?
Has Derek Carr ever really been above average?
Outside of maybe 1 year with Oakland. Has he ever, I mean, he had like early in his career.
He had the 2 years, 15 and 16 he was. The 15. Year they made the playoffs in Vegas, he was.
What? They made the playoffs in Vegas? I don't even remember that.
When Gruden got fired and Rich Bisaccia took over, they were 3-2 when Gruden got fired because of the email scandal. And then they made the playoffs that year.
Okay. Will they go 9-8, something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Who would you rather have? Forget money aside, just as a quarterback, Kyler Murray or Derek Carr?
I mean, Derek Carr went 9-8 in 2023. He's 5-5 in 2024. Didn't play this past year. Again, I'm not trying to tell you Derek Carr is great. I don't believe that. By the way, they went 10-7 in 2021. 10-7. But I think he's better than you're giving him credit for.
Okay. I mean, maybe. Am I being a little... Who would you rather have, though? Kyler Murray or Derek Carr?
I think I'd rather Derek Carr.
Ooh, Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr?
Kirk Cousins.
Okay, I'd rather take both of them. All right. Am I being a little too hard on Derek Carr? Am I coming?
Well, considering you love Spencer Rattler, I would say yes.
I'd rather do that. I'd rather play Rattler. At least I have something with upside there. Derek Carr, bro. I don't want to know Derek. I'd rather have James.
Who's the perfect answer though? It doesn't exist.
Oh, it's Spencer Rattler.
Oh, it's not
Spencer Rattler. It is. Like, if we get Spencer Rattler, would you want to win back-to-back Super Bowls, Jake? Is that something you might be interested in?
Spencer Rattler is going to lead the Jets to back-to-back Super Bowls.
Would you like guaranteed? It's guaranteed. If you get Spencer Rattler, you win back-to-back Super Bowls, guaranteed.
If that were true, sure.
Okay, the only way we can do that is to. I don't think that we're going to win any Super Bowls without Spencer Rattler. So if you want to win back-to-back Super Bowls, Spencer Rattler's the only answer. He's that good. If we get Spencer Rattler, Boomtown, write that down. Gary said on February 10th, February 11th. If the Jets get Spencer Rattler, they'll win back-to-back Super Bowls. Put that down. But I want to talk to you about the Monday Night Miracle thing. I remember that game still like it was yesterday because I was a senior in high school and the Jets were good. And this is when the Cowboys really started to get bad. I think the Cowboys were like 2-5 or 2-6 at that point. And the Jets, after that game, I think they were 6-1, 6-1, right? Because then they lost.
I think they were 5-1 going into the game.
No, 6-1. After winning that game, they were 6. Yeah, they were 6. And then they lost 3 in a row after that. And they sucked. But like, I remember going to school that morning. The Cowboys sucked. The Jets were 6-1. It was like the best thing in the world because I had sat through that. Like that was when the Cowboys had made the playoffs the year before with Aikman, and that was it. They lost in the first round. This was the first time the Jets were good and the Cowboys were bad, and the Cowboys were god awful. And the Jets were 6-1. I remember going to school that day saying, "This is so good. I can talk trash to all of them finally." And then the Jets lost 6 of the last 9 and missed the playoffs because they're the Jets. But
then Al Groh left and after the 9-7 year, and then in came Herm Edwards.
I don't like you look at that team that they had 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. They were super talented. They had a ton of talent on that team. Like they actually, I know they made the playoffs a bunch of times. They went 9-7 that year. But they really underachieved. Like they had a really talented team those years. Like they were really talented.
Well, 98 was the year. Or 99, and then Vinny got hurt. So
Vinny got hurt 99. And then Parcells left. Al Groh was in 2000. But look at that team they had. That team and then Herm's team. They were really talented on both sides of the ball. Like 2000 to 2002, 2003. They were super talented. They really were.
They were. Unfortunately, they couldn't win couldn't get to a Super Bowl. They came close to that years later with Rex, but now we've been in the abyss since.
With Doug, well, they got close to the AFC Championship game. Doug Bryan blew that. Remember that?
Yep.
You old enough for that, yeah.
Yeah.
I told you I played pickup basketball with Doug Bryan at Hofstra, right? And he flopped.
Yeah, you did say that. I think on the previous show.
I knew that it was only like a 45-yard. That's how much the kicking game has changed. I think 45 in a playoff game in Pittsburgh was like tying the record. Like that was the longest field goal ever kicked in a playoff game in Pittsburgh. Now they kick 50. Now they kick 60-yarders. It's crazy. But that's really all I got.
Gangrene says he'd rather me talk to a piece of drywall than you.
Okay, well, we'll see how I do in the Asmaniac tournament, and we'll see how you do, Gangrene. We'll see. All right.
Last year, Gary went all the way to the Final Four.
That's why there's no really there's no need to trash talk. There's no need. Like we get to go head to head in the tournament, so we get to fight. Like, I never understood trash talking in boxing. Like we literally get to fight. You don't have to get underneath my skin. You don't have to piss me off. We're gonna fight. We don't have to trash talk. We get to fight later. It's all good. We don't need the trash talk. You can do all the trash talking you want. And you know what? Gangrene, he's gonna vote for me too. You know why, Jake? Because I'm entertaining. It's like Floyd Mayweather. Maybe you love me, maybe you hate me, but you do want to see me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary 3D boxing.
Gas station pizza is better than a Big Mac.
What a man. What a man. Fun show. Thanks to Tanky V for joining. Appreciate everyone who called in. We will be back with Green Bean this afternoon and have the raffle for a signed Wayne Corbett helmet. So let's get some entries this afternoon for those of you who tuned in too late or are watching this on delay. Again, you guys are the best. If you want to watch the Vice TV doc, I'll make it a Patreon video. We can't put it up on YouTube, obviously, for copyright infringement. But for those who want to check it out, join the Patreon, and you'll be able to watch the full thing. Again, you guys are the best. Thank you for your support. This channel, even in the off season, continues with 4 hours, basically a day of Jet content. You won't find that anywhere else. So you guys are the best, and you make it all possible. So just want to thank the audience again for the nonstop support. I'll talk to you guys soon. We got Green Bean on in the afternoon. Until then, as always, remember this. It's always Jets, 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 Jets. So are you not rooting for the U.S. in the Olympics?
I'm Puerto Rican. It'd be sacrilegious. I mean, I have
What do you mean? You live in the United States of America. You were born in this country, correct?
Yeah, but my family is from Puerto Rico, so I'm rooting.
You can't root for both?
No.
You wouldn't root for the U.S.?
I'm rooting for the Puerto Rico in the Olympics right now.
Okay, but what if the U.S. is in an event and Puerto Rico's not? Who are you rooting for?
I guess, yeah, okay. I guess if the Puerto Ricans don't have a dog in the fight, then okay.
Are you a communist, V-Man?
No.
Well, it kind of sounds like you are if you're not rooting for the United States.
If the Puerto Ricans don't have a dog in the fight, then sure, I'll root for the U.S.
Okay, Team USA is in the gold medal basketball game. Puerto Rico's already been eliminated. Who are you rooting for? They're playing Germany.
Fine, I'll root for the U.S.
What do you mean fine? You're acting like it's a chore to root for the country you were born in. You've been to Puerto Rico once.
All right, can we just get back to football?
We cannot. We need to focus in on the fact you might be a communist.
I'm not a...
Give me the pledge. Let's do a little pledge and we'll get back to football.
All right, fine.
All right. Come on, give it to us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to this republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy now? USA.
That was tough. Pittsburgh Mike writes in, which flag did Aaron Rodgers run onto the field with again? Remind me. The one on my hat. USA. USA. Chef Kevin says that's worse than Allen's Jet chant. I won't lie. V-Man's USA chant was Allen level bad.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.